Hello, everybody. Today is Tuesday, May 6th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining the Kubeflow community graduation call, bi-weekly. And so today we're talking about CNCF graduation with the Kubeflow community. So thank you all for attending. As a reminder, please follow our CNCF code of conduct, which means be nice people and welcome feedback because we're all imperfect except my wife. All right, do you want to get started, Andre? Or I can start us. I think, Andre, you're either on mute
Yeah,
or...
sorry. So I think overall we're doing good. I know that Valentina been working really hard to establishing this kind of tracking issues, right? So I think from my side, I was trying to create the common account for us and open, the OpenSSF badge. The problem that I see, for some reason, they don't really accept the public emails. So I was trying to use our KSC email, it just doesn't work. So I think my question is do we have anyone who knows how to register the common account there? I can try to raise the support issue with them, but do you have anyone who can help us with it?
Account for OpenSSO?
So is the issue that you
so
have to use Gmail?
Yeah, maybe you have to use Gmail, right? So because for some reason the Kubeflow email that doesn't work.
I wonder if it's possible to use like a mailing list, like the...
Yeah, this is what I try to do. So we have our private email, the steering committee email, which is registered under the Kubeflow Google group. But for some reason, just doesn't work for me, the registration.
Matteo, obviously, yeah, come on.
No worries. If may be of help, in the meantime, I've checked with Milos because he created the OpenSSF badge for model registry, and we were able to actually share and collectively edit it. So it doesn't answer your question, Andre, but I think it solves the problem in another way. So you can have multiple editor on the same badge.
Oh, this is great. But how you've done this? How you added more people to the account?
So the badge may have more than one people. So to do so, I've created an OpenSSF account with my Gmail. And then in my account, I get my user ID. And I give this user ID to existing maintainers of that badge so that they extend the collective.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because for me, I didn't. So I didn't see this ACLs on the badge. So does it mean we can add as many people there to collaborators and editors? Is there any okay.
Right. So for example, I think that Milos and we are really thankful already did a good bunch of the work. And what I tried to do is to add to some of the others so that sort of we can have collective editors. And indeed, it's for instance, another thing is that for some issues, for some items, we can discuss it in GitHub, and then some of the maintainers can maintain that one in the badge itself.
So we can add more maintainers to every badge, right?
Correct, but you need to sort of do it manually. There is not a
I understand. So I guess
you dropped.
Yeah.
We lost him.
Oh, he actually dropped fully.
Yes. All right.
Interesting.
Probably lost signal. Andre's traveling in Seattle this week. So, okay. There's a to-do on SSF. All right. Oh, well, he's
that
back.
Notorious internet black spot, yes.
Sorry, guys. Can you hear me now? Hey, guys.
He's probably sitting in a data center right now. Why can't I get signal? Yeah.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Andre.
Yeah. So sorry. Okay, I think this is a good idea. So let's maybe follow up on this, and maybe we can just follow the same approach for every batch, right? So just add more.
So we need someone to be the root owner, though, right? Is that right, Matteo?
Yeah.
Someone has to. Can multiple people be the owner, or how does that work?
I haven't checked for the owner. I think that is fixed. So now it's Milos, for example, for model registry, and I didn't ask to change the owner itself, but I was added as a maintainer of the badge. I think that I can go and follow up and ask.
Is it possible that we could just? I mean, if you can, why is it that you can't register with a random domain?
I think they have a very weird way to detect spam because, for example, I registered my account and then after a few hours I received the activation email. So as I click the link, then it says, okay, I've activated your account, but now you need to wait a few hours before you log in.
I mean,
And
we
sort
could
of
just ask them about it so that we can have the root owner be owned by a common account so that even if someone dies or something, that we don't have to deal with transferring all of these accounts out. Like,
yeah,
because like
we need to
even if we use the normal approach for most of the time, like, but we just have the common account in the one password. You know what I mean? Like this.
I agree.
So I'd say the first step would be let's just check with OpenS
So,
SF.
sorry, Matthew, like I don't see any reason, any problem with that. Like if we lose the the owner, because we can always create a GitHub issue on the repo and transfer the ownership. So it's not a problem at all.
Wait, really? How do you do that?
Yes. Yeah. So if you check like their GitHub repo, that you have like a lot of not a lot of, but some of the issues open when people ask to transfer ownership. So this is not a problem.
I see. So is that how we're going to move them all to? So we should move them all to like one account then, or should we? Because otherwise it's going to be very
Yeah.
confusing.
So like the problem, like which account we can use, right?
Well, it
like
needs to be a person then. Like let's use you or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, do you see any problems to just allocate maintainers for every project and just we
Well, we
already
need
have
to keep
three.
catalog. The issue is we need to keep a catalog of who owns what then.
Yeah, but I mean, we already have three budgets, right? Like if I understand it correctly, like model registry, trainer, and pipelines, right?
Okay, but like, don't we have badges for everything? Aren't we gonna have like 6 badges?
Yeah. It's a good question.
Like it's not a big deal. It's just like, okay, it doesn't like. I mean, honestly and realistically, how long term are we gonna actually be, updating these things? 3 years from now.
Yeah, I would +1 to that. I mean, I think like, yeah.
So we
Anyway,
should just make sure that we should just make sure that the KSC is added as an owner at least to all of them or something. I don't know. Like, it's
yeah, I think
probably the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
Not owner, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So again, I think the main purpose of this batch is just get CNCF graduation, right? So yeah, of course, like we can update it even after we graduate, right? But I mean, I think just to move fast, I would just use the most the easiest approach right now.
So have we created all of the various badge accounts? That's the first question then.
Yeah, like 3. So on this, let's maybe follow up offline, I think, in Slack, and I will take a look like what Ramesh was talking about, right? Because I didn't I wasn't able to add more people there. I just want to see the level of permission and who will be the final owner, right? Like, I just want to double check on this.
Well, I assume it's whoever created it, but let's just catalog who owns what, and then try and add at least the 5 KSC members to all of them, just so that we have a 5-person backup. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To edit at least, whatever the level of access that you can give someone is.
Yeah, exactly. We want somebody to be able to edit it later. Yeah. Cool.
And that also gives us legitimacy when we ask for transfer of ownership if that person,
Yes, hits the lottery or whatever. Hopefully they would still engage with us in their ample free time. Cool. So, was there anything else that we wanted to discuss openly that was top of mind to you, Andre, before we kind of go right to the graduation requirements again?
No, we can go through agenda. I think my only kind of ask, like, do we have volunteers who can take the lead of some of the tasks and move forward? Because we need to do a lot of work for the issues that Valentina created, right?
Yeah.
I would love to understand from this call if we have anyone who just want to drive some of those maybe small issues, right? The good first issues at least.
Yeah. So there's pipelines, trainer, notebooks,
model registry.
yes, model registry, feast question mark, TBD still.
We definitely, let's talk about that in the maybe talk about that offline.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit of a joke. Katib, let's see, pipelines, dashboard. Does dashboard have to be in that? Is that
That's a really good question. Oh my God, that's another debate for offline, I think.
okay? Dashboard. Oh, yes. Sorry, that was an accident. I'm not trying to open up.
You're just trying to stir controversy today. What's happening?
There's no spice in your life. What's going on?
Oh my gosh.
Spark. Did I miss anything?
The Spark operator is not a question mark. That one is actually going to need
Oh,
one.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I meant that. Yeah.
And Spark operator, yeah. I'm trying to think. So pipelines, trainer, no.
Sorry, like my only recommendation that we select only tools. Like I understand that we can talk about dashboard, but from my point of view, we should probably start with the tools and see like if CNCF requires additional work, right?
I mean, there is something to be said that a security audit by paid auditors might actually be quite nice in the dashboard, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we need to pass security audit for every project that we own, right? So, which
I mean,
means
the
like,
dashboard we own, right? I guess, and the question is just like, if it's not a required component, I feel like the CNCF will want it though. Like, I like, not that they, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm open to it being one way or the other. It just depends on how we present it, right? I'd say like to the not just to the CNCF, but to the community.
Yeah, one of the ways could be to say that this component allows us to have secure pipelines, right, or something like this.
But like that's the most security centric component. If the dashboard has all of the auth and the network service mesh stuff, it's like, well, that feels like the most thing that needs the auditing the most, right? I don't know. But yeah, so I'd say just let's think about it. Especially as we come to the final decisions around what the dashboard repo will contain.
Hey, Jorge.
Yo, that was my next question. Have you actually filed the ticket for graduation yet?
So there was one previously, but I think it may have been conflated with the incubation security audit.
Yeah, so Josh, I think that you're talking about the ticket we need to fill with service desk for security audit, right?
Well, I was just talking about your graduation ticket. See that graduation requirements? Yeah.
Yeah, you mean, Josh, do you mean like on the GitHub, on the CNCF GitHub?
So it does exist and it's already open, right?
So I think there may have been some confusion because I think we've got one for incubation, which is already finished, but I think someone might have started trying to use that again. So let me just check.
I just went to the issued template and pull requests, and I don't see.
Is it under the TOC repo, Joe? Okay.
It should be if it exists. Let me look.
Okay, it's not then. No.
Yeah, the reason I wanted to bring this up is I think in our minds we're all like, we're going for graduation. And I'm like, well, where's the actual ticket? Because what I wanted to recommend was for those components that you want in there, you can have in the ticket. And then you can have a separate section that says, we haven't decided on these yet. But at least you have the ticket open, you know what I mean? And they know that you're...
Well, I feel like we're just kind of preparing it so that we don't waste their time as well, like a little bit. But I think in the next few weeks, we will raise the formal request. I am guessing.
Yeah.
Correct.
So my next thing was set a deadline because like the talk needs to know that you're going for graduation for Atlanta, like as soon as possible.
I also, given the scale of Kubeflow, it probably is a good point. Yes.
Right. Like I'm telling them, I'm like, hey, they're gonna go, but like they're also
there's
gonna
two, like,
the actual ticket. Yeah.
There's like two big reasons why I think that's important. One is that there's just a lot of code in this project, and two is that it is like it's tied to the beginnings of Kubernetes. Kubeflow, Kubernetes were kind of released at a similar time. It's similarly Google related. Like it will be a big media story, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, I think Jorge, I'll start kicking off a PR to like it'll be bare bones and say, hey, look, we just wanted to give notice. We'll start to fill in.
Well, and we should evaluate the feasibility of doing it before Atlanta as well. Like if they say seriously, like no, I think it should be possible, right? Do we agree?
I think everyone's going into this that we're going to Atlanta and there's going to be a keynote and stuff. That's what
I'm meaning, right?
Yeah.
And so like also then we also need to have that organized as well, right? So
yeah, that's why I want the ticket. So what I'm gonna tell Bob, who's like the staffer who works with the talk, that like we're working on this.
And also it'd be nice to have them show up to this
for graduation. I just want it on paper,
And also, even if they don't speak on behalf of the talk, I don't expect that, but like it would be nice if maybe one member could come every other week, you know what I mean, to these meetings. If that's actually the plan. I don't know if that's a lot to ask. Maybe once a month.
I'll work on that. Yeah, I got that.
Actually, that is month to month, right? No, that's not. It's once maybe the first one of the
Yeah,
month
it's
or
just they
something.
meet now when this meeting is.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
We'll figure something out. Don't worry. I'm
They
here.
meet every week?
No, they meet every other week or whatever. But
Oh my
it's
gosh,
the
we should
same
flip
time
this then.
slot.
We should
Yeah, they're
probably
meeting right
flip
now,
this to
actually.
the others because right now we alternate weekly. So probably we should probably do a
I think it'll be fine. I'll go ahead and start back channeling now, though.
but
Good
yeah,
idea.
like I would love one of them to come and just help facilitate, a little bit. But yes. If they're willing to. If they're not, then that's fine too.
Sorry, Francisco. Like, can we follow up offline before creating GitHub issue, please? All right. So just to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, I think the
guess-
KSC should vote formally to do it as well, I would say.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's follow up on this because we need to make sure, again, as Mike just said, we're doing some work. We just like want to make sure we
But
kind
let's start the back channel though. Jorge,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
George. How do you say your name? Sorry.
George is fine, but it's cool. I got it. Just keep
How do you
talking.
want me to say your name though? Do you like a specific pronunciation?
George is fine. Yeah,
Cool.
that works.
I mean, it technically it's spelled Jorge on his.
I love telling other people how their names are said.
I'm an enigma, man. All right, keep talking though. I'll work this now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll align on the KSC on this. But yeah, Andre, that's fine.
For the PI, but yeah, I do really want, I would love, even if we don't aim for a specific date, we should try and get one of them to show up to this meeting. Do you agree? Like, yeah. Or
What do you mean, get one of them?
like if one of the people who will vote on the acceptance into graduation.
From
From
CNCF?
yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, probably we should prepare ahead of time to get them.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, don't worry. You're gonna have a presentation. You're gonna give to the talk and all that kind of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff.
Cool. Okay. So anything else that we wanted to discuss before we kind of get into the graduation requirements that we want to iron out? So we have actually going back. So we have these best practices. Could tip. Okay, cool. So then.
Oh, also there is an overall Kubeflow one that we need to figure out what we do with, right? Like,
Yeah, there are some that also it's not very easy to search for it. But there
because I
is-
think we probably should know what I'm saying is we have one of those already, and the question is, do we need to get rid of it?
Mm.
Let's
I
see.
think this is so sorry, can you hear me now?
Whoa, that's very loud, but okay.
Oh, sorry about it. Sorry, like yeah. It's very loud. You can hear me?
It's okay, just like talk quietly.
Yeah, sorry about it. Okay, I think like this is the old one. We don't need to use it. Let's use a new one.
But can
This
we
is like-
actually delete them, or is that even allowed? Oh, we lost them. Or are you muted?
I think if we want to delete it, we can delete it, but I would suggest just ignore it because this one was created a couple of years ago.
But let's not just ignore it. Let's clean it up, right?
Yeah, we can ask, if you want, we can ask to clear it up. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem strange to delete it.
Because what does
Rather-
it mean though, right? Like if we don't have it or have it, what, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's.
it's just kind of confusing. This is all I'm saying because it confuses. It's kind of like the CNCF having a project, having one for the whole of the CNCF. It doesn't make a lot of sense, you know? Like,
I mean, I agree with that view as well. Static code. Oh yeah, see there. Yeah, because that's going to be weird.
what does it mean? There's no code that's in the common section anymore. Well, Andre will want
Eventually.
that to be the case.
Yeah. So okay.
So my recommendation, we just don't submit this in the CNCF because in the CNCF issue, we just need to list all the badges, right? So we can list everything, but not this badge. That's it.
We should just get rid of that one. Although I think that one is actually linked on the Kubeflow repo. Let me just confirm. So we should remove it from there if it is. We should probably make a badges page on the website or something, and then link to that. I don't know.
Yeah, we could figure out where we put the badges. Like let me put that as a.
Actually, only the CLO monitor is the thing that's linked, which is a CNCF tool for something. What is that? Like, I'll link it in the chat. What is this? The one that's at the top here.
Where is it?
I'll link the whole thing, actually, then probably easier. What so this is the only badge that's linked on the oh my gosh, that's the wrong logo. Can we please? Like
This-
every time I see the wrong logo, it angers me so much. Who is this a CNCF page or what is this?
It's all right. It's all right. We'll figure it out. we can
Who
change.
maintains this page? We need to fix it. Do you know Jorge? George, sorry?
That you do. That should be wired up to your stuff automatically.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna blame Matthew on this.
I blame me. Yep. I definitely would not have uploaded that. But
You
yes.
probably did this on purpose just to upset yourself.
Actually, what you should be doing is using that stuff in your presentations and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Which the wrong logo?
Yeah.
No, I meant the stats. Do you guys have access to your LFX dashboards too with all your?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Do we?
good.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we should. I have access to the feast one, so I'm assuming we have that. Well, I'll confirm.
Yeah, I don't know if we do, honestly. Like, but let me just also confirm something. I feel like this may mean that the CNCF has the wrong logo under something.
CNCF/artwork is the source of truth, so I would.
But
check
that's
it.
weird. No, that one has the correct. I know that one is correct.
Oh, okay. So then.
The problem
that's
is that
what
there's
we're
an
supposed to be
old,
following
there's
that
two incorrect logos floating around. One that I kid you not actually has Comic Sans as the Kubeflow wording, and the other is that one, which is it's too tight. It's slightly the wrong color, but it's also the KF need to be wider away from it, like the trenches, if you will.
So I think as George said, CNCF/artwork is a source of truth.
So who actually uploads to this CLO monitor.io?
That should be us. We can do that offline. We can figure that out.
Cool, awesome, thank you. I'm just trying to, every time I find one, I'm just trying to fix it.
Yeah, I get it. And then for the both of you, we have a guy who could train you up on the LFX stuff. So if you have your access figured out, ping me on Slack and I'll get you like a 30-minute training with the guy who does it. And he'll just teach you everything about LFX so you can just run your own stuff.
Yes. Sorry, Josh. I think I've done this already with Amber half a year ago. I think like the question is for LF dashboard. What should be the next step? I know you have a calendar, right, and other things. Is there anything you think we can use right now to improve productivity? Like, what do you think?
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah,
but like we need. That's one of those things where we need to have a call and go through step by step because there's a domain management tool in there they just landed. There's like everything in there. So I think it's one of those.
Okay, so to be clear, the domains in our case are managed on GCP.
Okay.
And we didn't transfer them because it would have just caused issues, I think. But but they are owned by the CNCF, to be very clear.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll just go through them. I'm just saying we have training available if you're lost in LFX. That's all I wanted to say.
But yeah, if that actually is something we could transfer the name servers for, I mean, that's something we could discuss. Awesome.
Cool.
So wait, this LFX dashboard though, is this related to graduation or is this something separate?
I think it's like involved in some sense. 'Cause I think I imagine we have to have some like I don't know actually. I'm looking at my LFX dashboard for Feast.
I'm trying to figure out if I even
insights and stuff is all the stuff that you're gonna want in the blog posts and the announcements.
And when you actually how do you like? So I've signed in with my GitHub one, and how would I even see if I've currently got access to this thing?
That's what I'm trying to look. I don't think I have access to the queue. I guess
I don't think
probably
anyone
should.
does. That's kind of what I'm.
Let's
guessing.
schedule a follow up so we don't.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll start a thread with you, me, Andre, and we'll just see if we can go from there.
Yeah, can you add me to that thread?
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. You. Sorry. I forgot. I meant you in a couple ways. Anyway, it's just the first step is just to figure it out, and then we'll get everyone else who needs access. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Wonder if
I need to drop really soon, so
all good. Okay.
So again, I think from my point of view, the most important thing: do we have anyone here in the call who just want to take tasks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take up getting the badge for the Spark operator. I think that's the only one that needs to be created.
Yeah, so I think batch. So I'm less concerned about batch. I'm more concerned about other tasks that Valentina created. We need someone who can work on this.
Yeah. So let's see.
Oh, we also need to have adopters for everything, and the adopters currently there is missing for notebooks. I saw that Matteo made one for model registry, which is great. We can probably merge that, and then we also need one for pipelines and notebooks.
We just have to merge the ones for pipelines and notebooks.
No, we haven't got them. We don't exist.
You don't have them.
So, like,
Wait.
so this is separate. Let me just create. No. You're talking about. No, I'm talking about something else now. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Where? What are we talking about?
I'm talking about the adopters pages, which are required to list.
adopters pages. I see. Okay.
Adopter. Actually, that might be already down here. No, it's not.
Yes, I saw the model registry.
So sorry for the adopters. One question: do we need to update the adopters to include development or production environments where people are using the projects? Is it the requirement for graduation?
George, do you know? I know that
Which may include using.
Got it right there.
because it does say that, but that's for the ones that we're using as a reference, right? We're just talking about our public adopters file.
But isn't this requirement applying for the whole Kubeflow that you are graduating?
Okay, but that's what
for?
I'm saying. This is more like just but like what I'm saying is send at least 3 documented, I mean, this is all this is saying here, right? Yes, absolutely for the ones that we're proposing as references, totally. But like for the thousands of people who we're trying to get to add adopters lists to, right now, some of them list the level of adoption, and because we've got like 7 different projects, like we just talked about. Let me just link it in the chat. So like, I need to go very soon.
Yeah, that's bad wording. I should get that fixed. The 3 ones are more like interviews.
Yeah,
like
that's what I thought.
Person has, they're like, tell us how you use Kubeflow, and it's more of the.
And it's more like to make sure that people are actually using your product. I understand. But then from the Kubeflow perspective, we also have our own public adopters, which aren't required for graduation, but I think would be
that's
contributing.
just a list of logos you want to impress people with, as many as possible.
Well, that's separate again. The logos are like, we're putting a hard requirement on like, okay, you have to be a CNCF member just.
Anyways, let's avoid the logos rabbit hole.
By the way, that PR is ready now. We just need to get NVIDIA, Google, Red Hat, and Amazon to just give their formal approval to use the logos, because they're all listed in some capacity on one of the adopters files, and then the CNCF, then the KSC needs to vote to accept them onto the front page. I made dark mode and light mode versions that I tried to be compliant with their logo requirements. Anyway, that's a separate discussion for this.
Do you have 3 end users in mind already, or?
I think let's come to that a bit later. And also the question we have, I mean, this always comes back to like, what does using Kubeflow mean, right? There are 7 components. Should we have 14 users then? Or
I think
should
it's really sufficient is my view.
But then most people don't use all of Kubeflow. That's kind of where the fundamental problem starts, right?
Right. That's I'd say minimally, including just one.
Sorry, for this, I have a question to George. So, George, do you remember, for example, for Argo, because Argo's license sort of set up microservices is different, I understand, but do you require what level of adoption is required for us to graduate? Do you have any specific requirements? Since Kubeflow is a kind of sort of set of collection of tools, right? Would love to hear your thoughts on this.
I wouldn't overthink it. I think if they're using a component in production, then we're using Kubeflow notebooks. We are organization A, and maybe organization B uses another component.
We should probably have 3 different components at least.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And
Actually, I think it's sufficient to use one component to state we're using Kubeflow.
No, that's what I'm saying. So
right.
3 different references, but they at least cover 3 components.
Yeah.
I remember agreeing with Francisco, unless George, you have strong objections on this. Yeah, if for example, if organization uses Spark operator, and you can say organization using Kubeflow, I think we should all be the same way.
Yeah,
okay.
I think X using Kubeflow should be the widest possible net forward.
And that's how we've definitely defined
we only
that.
Use notebooks.
Adopters.
You're like, that's fine. That's totally fine.
And that's how we've defined that adopters file as well, where
perfect.
It's where there's links at the. Do you want to just quickly open that on the stream, Francisco? The top link, the meta adopters file link. So the way we're defining adopters is you can adopt the whole platform, which you can choose to list yourself, or you can, once we have the links, you can link yourself and add yourself to any of the adopters, including KServe, which is, again, I know in a complicated state, but that's in
Right.
its own donation state. But it's already in the Linux Foundation, but it needs to move across, I think. But
Sure.
yeah. And again, it's not strictly part of Kubeflow, but it's friendly, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Right.
It's this weird orphan thing. Then, just like
Yes.
the whatever.
Okay, that's sad. Okay, so next up, we do need to create adopters files for pipelines and notebooks.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Merge the adopters file link for model registry. So that one.
Pipelines.
Also, don't have one for dashboard here again. I didn't link one for dashboard because that one's kind of platform in my mind. I don't know. It's hard once it becomes its own component.
Let's just punt dashboard because we need to there's the
Yeah, don't overthink it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Let's
once
start
it becomes its own component, then yeah.
Yeah, and we can talk with Julius about including platform, and then he'll have to handle the adopters.
Platform is actually already in that repo, in that list, to be very clear. It's just down the bottom.
So from my point of view, if we decide to add this to the projects, we should call this another Kubeflow tool, Kubeflow project, right? But let's not overuse this this word for this project, right?
Andre, I couldn't hear what you said.
Sorry,
he just said
yeah.
he just said we'll treat it as components that we're doing, right?
Gotcha.
Like that starting off with only components. Is that right, Andre? Okay, wait, no, let's come back.
Yes, there is no such project as Kubeflow platform, just to be clear, right?
Okay, but there is a dashboard, right? Though. But there is a dashboard.
Yeah. So let's just think if we can treat it as a separate project, right? Or separate tool, whatever we can call it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
because I think we are trying to formalize the fact that dashboard is its own set of components, which includes auth. Well, an optional auth.
Yeah, because what I don't want to do, because dashboard has 5 or 4 different components. I don't want for us to go over each of this component and fix the issues we have there, right? For example, release schedule and other things, right? Because it will be required for us to go over gradation, right?
Okay, so then it sounds like we need to amongst the KSC, we need to have a discussion about this. So Julius.
So because my only thing, I think it will slow down the graduation, because again, if you go over the items that Valentina created, there are
we can discuss this amongst ourselves.
All right.
Yeah, agree with it. But we can iron that out. Okay. So adopters file and pipelines and notebooks. I'll create one for pipelines. Matthew, do you want to create the one for notebooks?
Yeah, we need to do that. Yep. Also, we'll do it in the new repo, obviously, and we'll do it under main rather than under the V1 or V2 branch, I think.
Why don't I have you here? All right.
It's 1T.
You.
But it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But I'll find myself.
Matthew, may I ask you a question for the notebook? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
So for notebooks, do you think that we only do for 2.0? What is your perspective?
So I'm just going to put it in the main of the new notebooks repo. If someone who adopts 1.0 wants to put their name there, they're free to do that. I don't think many people are going to do it until notebooks 2.0 comes out and they see the new repo. But,
because why I'm asking, we really need to think about there are a lot of action items we need to do. For example, some of the small one, creating a release.md file, right? We need to really understand, for example, creating release.md, which explains how to make releases, how we do releases.
Wait, that's for 2.0 though. What?
Yeah. My question is validation criteria requires for you to do a lot of things. One of the examples is creating a release.md file, right? So my question is are we going to do this for notebooks 2.0 or 1.0, right?
So if it's going to be by November, both will be included. But again, we'll have the release file for each of them. We're in the same way that we'll have a release file for dashboard. And we had one for the whole of the previous. They were previously in the same repo under Kubeflow/Kubeflow. So we had a release file there. We'll just have a split version of that. It's good. We need to continue to be able to release V1 notebooks. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
And we will.
yeah, I
continue.
understand. Yeah, because if you go again over the items, checklist items, like there are several items which is required. Stable releases, change log, owners, adopters files, right? So all these things are required to be present there, right? So we just need to make sure, for which projects we're going to create those files, right? That does make sense, like what I'm talking about?
They will exist for 1.0 as well.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, because we need to continue having them for 1.0. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like I'm not going to just drop support for 1.0 on the first time we have 2.0. I mean, it probably won't be included by default once 2.0 is released, but it's again, we're still running towards that. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We'll talk about it in the next community meeting.
Yeah. So I'll be conscious of time.
Anyway,
with
I
20
need to
minutes.
go. So see you guys.
Bye, Matthew. Thank you. Okay, graduation list requirements. Now let's actually make sure that we've discussed the other parts, best practices, Kubeflow trainer. Okay, we have governance page on website tracking. We just create a separate page with two existing. Community repo cleanup effort. So last time we talked about OpenSSF badges. It sounds like we have all of that outlined. The adopters file is what we're gonna have some to-dos. Governance page on website. This page is so. Does somebody? Oh, this is the issue that we have. First, we should define clear governance. In Q4, it would be nice to create a dedicated website called Q under about section.
Has anyone reviewed this outside of y'all, outside of Kubeflow?
What do you mean?
The governance document itself.
This document or just this GitHub issue?
Well, the issues about the governance section, is that exist already?
We have the. Am I sharing my screen? Can you see?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a GitHub issue about, and so we have governance documentation, but they're just in different places. And so now adding it to the website is what this proposal is about.
Okay.
And
when
so
you get it in, feel free to tag me. I'm more than happy to do like a governance review.
cool.
Yeah, so for this, sorry, like the first initial step, just creating governance page on the website and just moving, two simple paragraphs from the community page to this page. Can someone just take a lead and do this? It's a very simple task to do, right?
Yeah,
because
I'll do this. We're going to discuss it further.
And all other new stuff we can add on top, right? We don't need to add all this new stuff in the first PR, right? Does make sense?
Got you.
Yeah. I'll just take it and do it tonight.
Francisco, tag me on that PR. I'd like to pair on that.
Okay, that's fine. Community repo cleanup. Medium to high task. Review that all working group members are correct. Yeah, that sounds like a slog. Okay. Review how we can improve the charters. A base charter. I don't think we have to overthink this. And I think this is, Jorge, correct me if I'm interpreting this incorrectly, but I imagine that the CNCF would be a lot more pragmatic about these, and like this, that feels like high effort, low impact. Like,
I agree. Ship
cool.
it.
Yeah, and that's not important. Move the elections process out of the KEPS folder into the KEP folder. That doesn't matter. Okay. So then going back to the graduation requirements, I created this. Oh, sorry. That is the template. I created an issue for this already before. Graduation. All right, this one and. Let's see the issues. Pull request. Graduation process. Where's the one I opened? Okay, yeah, that's this one. So okay.
Just real quick, I got some guidance on filing the issue.
Uh-huh.
They're like, file the issue as long as you have like one item per. Like, don't put the empty template in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that appears to be what we're doing anyway, so that's good. Yeah.
So yeah, George, sorry, like George, we have exactly the same thought process. Like, just at least tackle some of the items so we can open the issue, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and let's see, project website must succinctly describe what the project, so that is done. The project website must provide information on how to obtain, provide feedback, but reports that we do have information. Must explain the contribution process. This part, I think we do have contribution, but maybe that's not as explicit as it could be. And how it should include the requirements for acceptable contributions. So we need this for every project, right? I think we discussed this before, Andre, right? The basic website content, like it would be true that every tool or project needs.
Yeah. So for every project, I mean, maybe we can follow up on this, like how we should call it Kubeflow projects, right? But every Kubeflow project should have a clear documentation on the website. We should make sure. Like we already have this, right? Some sort of. But we need to make sure these sections on the website clearly define all the criteria which is required for graduation, right? Have all this, checklist.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think right now we call this components. So why I don't like the word components, because Kubeflow pipelines has a concept of component, right? So I just don't want to confuse users, right? It's Kubeflow pipelines components and Kubeflow components is
To be clear, I don't think that they'll care that much. I mean, trying to add more words, we should understand the spirit of what people are talking about. If they're saying like the components of Kubeflow versus a Kubeflow component, and a Kubeflow.
No, I mean, that is why I like the word projects, right? Because they're clearly, Kubeflow projects, right?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, all right.
So
If
for
I
every
may add,
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Francisco, just to add to that point, I don't know if it is of any help, but to that point about the contribution in the model registry repo, since the very beginning, we were linking to the Kubeflow website. There is a section that speaks about contribution. So I've linked that in the.
Yeah, I knew that. I guess where
I sent it in the chat as well.
Oh, cool, you did. Okay, let me see.
Yeah. No, it's like my suggestion would be instead of, if possible, instead of replicating the same kind of like wording in all the contributings.md, I would like that if there is any update to be done, it's done here, and then sort of like we amend include like what you call it, the manifestos, like the contribution, like any kind of like human to human interaction, sort of like a social contract that you want to put in there. We put it here so that we can link it from the different contributing.md in each of the repos.
Go first.
Yeah, what I was thinking about was that there's nuance per project. Again, like in Feast, how we do our build and development is slightly different. That's going to start to change for the trainer, right? Like the SDK is going to start using UV and stuff like that. And so there's like small nuances in how we'll do testing and stuff like that. Does that, like, how much of a matter does it matter is really what my point is. And my guess is Jorge is going to say, you all check the box. You have something documented, but I could be wrong there.
So my suggestion is, as Francisco said, every project has its own nuances. So yes, like we have this common contribution guidelines, which we all the projects kind of have to follow. Like like basically, users have to do forking, they're creating their own branches, right, and etc. But like the nuances, from my point of view, should go to the contributing.md for the individuals GitHub repos, right? Like similar to what we've done for Trainer, right? Training operator Trainer, right?
Fully agree. For Modern Registry, we did this way. We had a link at the very top, but then we had the nuances.
Yeah.
For example, we had a lot of things with the development on MacBook, and we put it there in the contributing.md to help the people that want to contribute using a Mac.
So for Modern Registry, do we already have the contributing.md file in the GitHub repo? Like, do we already have the contributing.md file being there in the repo or not? No matter.
Here, let me check.
We will need to check it for each of the repos, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm asking about Modern Registry specifically. So
For Modern Registry, we had it since the very beginning.
okay, sounds good. Yep.
I have it here, if you can see the contributors right here. So I mean, and like, I guess my point is that like technically we could point to all of Kubeflow as a whole for every project. They have this. Some of them also have their own, and I think that's sufficient.
I mean, from my point of view, I still think there is a value for individual contributing files, right? Because every project has a different. Yeah, yeah, good.
Like, there's what's minimally satisfactory to check the box, and there's what's a really nice addition to for completeness and to be thorough. My guess is, and based off of the small reactions I've heard from Jorge, is that they're mostly looking at, can you at least check the box, and I think we do for all of these, and I think we actually follow it much more for users than most projects. So I think it's just outlining that. Yeah. Post the license of standard location. Yes, I think so. That we can double check, but must provide basic data for the software produced by a child. Yes, that's already in the website. Project sites must okay. Must have one.
Sorry, Francisco, interrupting. Like we have 10 more minutes. I'm just like wondering, do we want to go through all these items for the batch, or we want to go through the issues that Valentina created? So maybe we can find people who can start working on this.
Let's go.
Like, what do you think?
Yeah, we can. Application contributors and community. These are the ones that application process principles. What is this one? Provides insight into the project in the context of the land. All project managed users are vendor neutral. I'm not sure what application process principles means. Do you?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
So I think it's maybe about like the features which we deliver, like that we have the clear maybe definition of it,
Wait, what are tags? Jorge, what is a tag? Do you know what the tag is? Maybe
I think it's a GitHub tag, right? Like the how we tag releases.
No, those are technically, those went away.
Oh, tab. Oh, yes. Sorry, yeah. Technical advisory group, right?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about these.
So, okay, let me see. This one, engage with the tag provides no longer needed according to Jorge. That's right, Jorge, right?
Yeah, that works.
Tag provides instant. So does that mean that this second checkbox also is not needed?
You know what? Let me check on this one. Can you change that to just be like Castro JO to find out the steps, because those steps should have been removed if tags went away. Feels like a vestigial thing we can remove.
And it might have been our timing because we copied this from the issue that Amber had created, and so maybe that's
Yeah, no worries. Okay, I'll follow that up. Tags just went away like last month.
No, actually, yeah. So
Oh.
go, Josh. Go ahead.
Okay, cool.
So this was not actually from Amber issue. This was from issue template they have on the CNCF website. So this is what you have in CNCF template when you create an issue for graduation.
Oh, okay. All right. So then it might just be stale. Okay. Governance and maintainers. Note this: governance has been updated as a result of their experience applying clear and discoverable project governance documentation. All subjects CNCF cross-linked from other governance documents. Yeah, so what's needed to be done here? Like, Andre, we have this stuff. Is it like document?
So
like,
again, I think what I want to say, we have a lot of docs, right? So first of all, we need to create a page and a website called, governments, right? And the first initial step just to move these two, like I mentioned this in the issue, but move these two sections from the community section to the governments page. And then we need to make sure we also, we have all the docs in the community report right now, right? So we need to get them structured, right?
But I don't think so. Like, I think it's actually sufficient for us to create a governance page on the website and then link to it.
Yeah, we can do this as well, right? That's right. So
I think that to check the box is my point.
yeah.
Actually,
Again,
it probably, to be more honest, we probably check the box by just providing the link to the governance documentation of our repo. But we can go a step above. I think that's good for the community. So I can cut that. I assigned this one to myself since I'm already doing the website. I guess it'll be a twofer.
Yeah, and just as we discussed 2 weeks ago, we don't want to move docs from the community to the website because some of those docs are auto-generated. So we just need to make sure we have links from the website to these docs, right?
Yeah.
For example, working group charter, right? They're just auto-generated, right? Yep.
Cool. Yeah, we can discuss on the PR, but yeah, that's fine. I'll start taking a look. Try not to copy anything that's always contributors and community. Augmented by contributor ladder with multiple roles for contributor. We already have this documented, right? And this is already on the website. So does someone even need to be assigned to this, or is this about like adding it to the proposal itself for the?
No, I think if we already have it, we just need to put the checklist, right? I mean, if it's already done, right?
Yeah. This is already done on the website, and I think that's like good. Documenting project engineering principles. I think this one sounds like it's a big one, actually. Yeah, this is the bigger, challenging one. This is the one that's going to require engagement from pretty much everybody, I think.
This one is important.
Yeah.
I helped write this morning. I apologize, but we had to be thorough on this one.
Yeah. No, and this one makes sense. Yeah, this is one where it's like, okay, this one actually matters because like when you go and go on blast about Kubeflow, people are gonna say, well, what are they doing? That's usually the question. So roadmap change process is documented. Document what the project does, why it does it, including viable cloud native use cases. This requirement may also be set up completing a general technical.
There is a good content that we can lift into the last bullet point. Sorry, second to last bullet point. The one about the release process from the release handbook.
Yeah.
Release team is using. So there is that.
Well, we have releases. Yeah, I think this for every project is the thing. That's why it's complicated mostly,
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that every project will need to document their own. But the overall Kubeflow, there is the release handbook that is quite throughout on how the platform and manifest bring together manifest testing of it together and so on. So the handbook has been maintained as far as I remember. So there is good. I'm not saying that the job is done, but I'm just.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, no, I think the manifest is one thing. I think it's actually just making sure like Spark, at Feast we have a public roadmap. There's no real change process. We just do it. But it's there. Yeah, just we need to follow up.
So again, from my point of view, every project should have its own release doc and its own roadmap doc, right? Similar to what we have for some of the projects which already have, like Spark Operator, Shriner has it. What else? Like, I don't know about others. I haven't reviewed them, but we already have some of them, right?
Yeah, no, I know. I agree. Everybody needs those docs.
Yeah, I think also for Katip, I think we also have this the same, release process and the roadmap.
So okay, well then with the two, okay, so look at then there's security. Security, that's obvious. Everybody has to go through it, and then ecosystem. That's the adoption. Yeah, that's that one. Adoption is allowed by TOC. Okay, so who is actually taking on this TOC thing and this adoption thing? I know that we talked about creating the adopters PR. I'm taking the one for pipelines, and Matthew's taking on notebooks. Actually, I'll just say that is taking this on for notebooks. I'll add it for pipelines.
Just a heads up, these have a way of sneaking up on you because you're playing telephone with another organization and trying to get an interview in. So just be careful with that.
And these are just needing an industry. So what do we need from the organization? Do you need a senior leader to verify, or does it suffice for an employee to confirm?
It's just someone who's willing to represent the org. There's a few example ones I'll link you to here. Let me just look them up.
And this is for every project, obviously. Yeah.
No, I don't think interviews required for every project, right? Because this is just to prove CNCF have enough adoption for graduation, right, George?
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we can just select maybe go ahead.
That's fine. Then that should be very easy to do. Cool. Okay. Then I think the only tactical really hard one is the engineering principles, and so my view is Andre, you and I can work with the project leads to get this prioritized.
So, Francisco, can you remind me what is specifically required for engineering principles?
Document project goals, objectives, technical review,
So,
what the project does, and then the public roadmap. I think that's the biggest thing that's like a red flag to me, where it's like, uh-oh. Some folks haven't had a public roadmap in a while.
Yeah. So I think almost all this we already have. So I think we just need to. So for the goals, this could be an overview. So I know previously Ricardo and other folks had been pushing towards improving the documentation, right?
Yep.
So for example, every project has this, every project follows the same guidelines. Overview page, the getting started page, right? And its own docs like user guides, for example, operator guides. So in the overview section, for example, we can define what is this project about, what is the, what are the goals of this project and why you should use it, right? So yeah, we just need to reiterate on projects which on projects which don't have it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think for each of these things, we just need to have the checklist to make sure all the projects we're including have it. So that makes sense. Okay, so we are 2 minutes over time. I want to be respectful of people's time. I think there's a lot of follow-up work for us to do. I will start to tackle the things that I've committed to here. Is anybody else interested in helping out here? Spare a couple cycles and commenting on these issues. I think a tactical thing I would love someone's help on is on these engineering principles issues. If we could all just tag each sub projects stuff that we have, I think.
For Modern 3, actually, we've added the thing for the release documentation, since that was also needed for the badge. So maybe the suggestion for the different working group to say maybe this would help you not only for the graduation of the main, sort of like what we're discussing here, but it will help you to speed up for the badge progress. Because some of the question in the badge sort of like kind of like requires that you have documented in the repo somehow that release process. So that could be a way of killing two birds with one stone from each of the different working groups. Just a suggestion to give a very pragmatical things to people to act on.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Well, I would like to volunteer to help out with some of these things. This is my first graduation call I'm attending.
Awesome.
I'm still catching up on things, but I can help out.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, thank you so much, Garvas. Pleasure to meet you. And I think, yeah, we very much welcome your help. I think on this graduation process engineering principles, probably just like collating all of the information across the different projects together would be really helpful. And I mean, just to be super tactical, maybe for each project, kind of like how Matteo did, you could just grab the links of its URL and like literally just copy paste them as an independent comment. So for like, hey, here's pipelines, release process, roadmap, etc. And then we can start to put this.
Right.
Does that work?
Yeah, it works. I can help out.
Awesome. Yeah, and just feel free to like copy it as markdown, because then what we're going to do is we're going to put it all together into that one PR that we're going to submit to the CNCF. And so the easier it is for me to copy pasta, the happier I'll be for sure. But this is great. And Jorge, thank you so much. Matteo, thank you so much for the help here. Andre, thank you a ton. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff to do, but I think this is good. I think we're all super excited about this. All right.
Yeah, just maybe one last thought. So again, there are a lot of work needs to be done. So if someone just want to work, please comment on the issue, so we can maybe delegate some of the tasks to you, right? It doesn't mean you need to take the entire section, right? Just maybe some of those tasks. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Even if it's just a little bit of work, it helps. Goes a long way. Cool. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.